A golden age. What is it? Well, a golden age, it's something that you feel in the air. You know, you kind of might have an idea that it's coming on, but there's no black and white line. There's no data that you can just be like, okay, we are in a golden age. But you know when you're in one. You feel it. Records are being broken. Players are coming back. The game is active. People are learning. Stuff's being discovered. And we are in a golden age right now in Mario 64 speedrunning. And I might even go as so far to say that we are in possibly the goldest age I've ever personally witnessed in the game. Big talk, perhaps, but I'm gonna spit some facts at you. Many top players right now grinding the game. On 16 star, you have Slippery Nip and Ouija. 70 star, you have Green Luigi and Kano learning 70. Benji as well on the grind. 120 star, of course, we've got Liam busting out records. I'm playing, okay? Yeah, I know you're thinking I'm just a reactor, but trust me, I'm playing the game. I'm getting better. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Cheese, Punke, Batora, I don't know where he is, but it's popping. And, you know, times get pushed down. There's more motivation to learn when you see your peers playing. It doesn't feel so lonely. It's pretty fun, and golden ages come in waves. You know, there's been many periods of time where some categories can feel dead at the top level. Even besides the top players, with big streamers like Miz, Boxbox, Emmy, grinding the game. I made this script like a month or two ago. They aren't really playing the game anymore, but they brought a lot of new people to the game that are grinding the game. Mario 64 is possibly the most active it has ever been for speedrunning ever. So, before I get into the exact nitty-gritty of this past year and just how crazy it's been for Mario 64, I want to reflect, you know, go back to the good old days, the nostalgia within me, and revisit, for me, what I personally felt like were two golden age moments in 120 star. Now, I could go into 16 and 70, but I don't run those categories, and for me, it's kind of hard to get an exact picture, remember it. I'm not going to talk about those categories, but I will talk about those categories for the current golden age. But going back in the past, the two golden ages that stick out the most to me are the Nero Bop Project era and the Bounty era. Nero Bop Project. Who is Nero? What is a Bop Project? Good questions. Nero at the time was an OG runner who had been a god at the game before I even started. You know, he had world records back before 2012. Last around March 2012, where he held the 120 star world record with a 146.35, as well as holding the 70 star world record in October 2011 with a 50.14. Most people thought he was probably never going to come back, but he had started practicing Mario 64 in late 2014. I'm dying, sorry. Wear a mask or something. Okay. Most thought he was probably never going to come back, but he had started practicing Mario again in late 2014 and unveiled arguably one of the most hype projects of all time, the Bop Project. I'm going to play Mario 64 to bop other 120 star players, as many as I can, until the end of January. Starting with a 146.35, the world record at the time being a 142.41. It was kind of scoffed at, kind of laughed at when he came back, myself included. I remember when he came back and I was thinking, there's no way he's going to beat the world record in like a month. No chance. And he grinded and grinded his ass off, knocking his time down through the month of January and bopping most of these players. And in the following month of February, not only getting the world record, but doing it with multiple save and quits in JRB and in Dark World, effectively making the world record look like a joke at the time, which it was very much not. The secret? Nero had been the first person to begin not saving after each star, which, if done perfectly, saves up to 8 frames per star. And this adds up very quickly, and amongst other strats he had also introduced into his run, he had pushed 120 star into a much different place than it had been before his showing, inspiring other runners at the time like Cheese, myself, and Punke to level up our game and adopt these new strats to keep up with them. Altogether, we pushed our times down in the following month, and ultimately Cheese had smashed Nero's world record at the time with a 141.16 in April of 2015. Those months after were eye-opening. You know, it's easy to get complacent, especially if everyone else around you playing is, you know, especially if you've been grinding hard and you're kind of getting to the end of that wave where you're feeling tired, you feel like you need a break, you feel like you did what you need to do. And then ultimately the game, the category goes into a bit of a lull, a bit of a quiet moment. The next era was the bounty era. This was pretty monumental for multiple reasons. It had been at least one of the first times I had ever seen it where there was a bounty placed on a new world record in 120 star. Now, I may be a little bit biased because the bounty era was part of the era in which I got world record, but even before I got the world record, this was one of the best times for me to play the game because I had come back after a long hiatus in which I thought I was never going to play the game again due to hand issues, and thankfully I was able to sort that all out. Not only was I able to come back, but Liam had come back, Cheese and Punke had been playing, Paracusia, Tago, and also Japanese runners Hokorobi, Karen, and Ikori had come back, so it was popping, it was bopping. Basically, all the people that could be playing 120 star at the top level to compete for a record or come close were playing. It was quite a time to be alive. Now, for those of you that weren't around, this is something that hadn't happened yet in Mario, and it hasn't happened since, but there was a $10,000 bounty put down by EasyScape, accompanied by a company called Ballistics and a guy on Reddit named Chatham. The bounty would start in December 2019. On December 15th, the first person to get a 138 would get $5,000. The second fastest time would get $2,000. Third, fourth, and fifth would get $1,000 each. At this point, a 138 had not been achieved, but there were many runners that were capable of it. What it looked like in December 2019, Punke holding the record, Cheese a little bit behind, myself behind Cheese, Liam, Batora, Paracusia, and runners grinded, they went in, and ultimately, eventually, Cheese got the 138, and not only did he do it, but he did it at a live event, break the record, making double, winning the money from Break the Record Live, which was an awesome event, one of my favorite speedrunning events I've ever been a part of, and making the money from the bounty.
Oh my God! Cheese, you're a legend! You are a legend, Cheese! Oh my God, you are a legend!
But it didn't stop there in January. Runners continued grinding, myself included, Liam. Eventually, Liam would push to get the world record, and then I would push to take the record from Liam. And this was definitely a huge moment in 120 star. The world record had been brought down by almost a full minute from a 139.06 from Punke down to my 138.28. It was an extremely fun time. So many runners playing, so many new strats, so many optimizations, and it was beautiful. Which leads me to now, our current day and age. What is the state of Mario? Why is this video a thing? The golden age that we are now able to witness live. Let's talk about what's happening right now. The current golden age of Mario 64. Every record in the game has been broken in 2021. As you probably know, because it seems like every week I have a new React video to drop, which is amazing. Love that, you know, our editors love that. So if any world record holders are watching, some new world records would be nice. I'm a little low on content right now, but it's all good. Kano had improved the 0-star world record twice with a 631 and then a 629. Kano had also taken the 1-star record from Dowski with a 710 and then improved upon it with a 707 in December 2021. 16-star has had so much goddamn activity, I don't even want to say all the records just yet, but the year started with the record as a 1459 and is now sitting at a 1448, an 11-second improvement, which is insane. The 70-star record has sat mostly untouched, with D-Whatever holding it at a 46.59 until November 2021 when Ouija bopped it by 1 second. And the 120-star record has swapped hands multiple times. You may not remember, but in the beginning of the year, Cheese bopped me with a 138.25 in January of 2021, and I mean, that was cool. That's good for him. It's fun. Batora bopped him a few months later in April with a 138.21. Not only did Batora bop him, but Batora was getting some crazy runs at the time, like lots of runs going upstairs, lots of pacers. But unfortunately, Batora is not playing right now. He vanished. So hopefully he comes back. Then Liam came back from the depths after a 1.5 year long hiatus. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later, because in my opinion, the most exciting thing to watch and to be a part of. I haven't really been a part of it, I've just been watching it, but watching the 16-star record get pushed down this year has been insane. So let me try and summarize how 16-star has changed throughout this year. You know, I watch a fair amount of 16-star, and I've enjoyed watching the grind this past year, but I've obviously been a 120-star runner most of my time, so I reached out to gleasn, who is not only the current 16-star world record holder, but one of the fastest improving Mario 64 speedrunners of all time, who recently broke the 1450 barrier of 16-star with a 1448, and asked about his thoughts and opinions on Golden Ages and the current Golden Age and how he thinks it went down, and in his mind, how it all looked. So, huge shout-outs to gleasn. He gave me a ton of good information, wrote it out really nice, so I'm basically just going to paraphrase what he has told me about 16-star and maybe offer some of my own thoughts. Firstly, asking about how a Golden Age gets started or how all the momentum is kind of spun up in 16-star, he says, because of how much the record has been broken and all the activity kind of inspires others to grind. I mean, just looking at all of the 16-star records that have happened here in 2021, you can see a lot of people have been playing and a lot of people have been grinding. gleasn theorizes a lot of the motivation came from Salt Cannonless, a alternative setup to get cannonless basically as fast as an OG cannonless, except you don't have to pray to God every time that it's going to work, and it has some consistency. To quote, he said, "It created a lot more motivation to run 16-star since you could get more runs past cannonless since you didn't have to do OG cannonless anymore, which melts your brain." In late 2020, the only runner close to world record in terms of PBs was Slippery Nip, with Ouija and Kano not quite there in terms of PBs. Slippery Nip had been the first 16-star runner to start doing Fly Guy Miss, a massive 1.5 second time save in SSL, where you, shockingly, skip the Fly Guy to get the Talon Star, which is extremely punishing and difficult. No, I will not do it in 120. No, I don't think it will be in 120. Don't ask. Please, God, don't ask. Okay, I'm not doing it. It's really fucking hard. But for 16-star, makes sense.
But why? Simply the 16-star runners are doing it.
Good point. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's true. That's really good. Nice. In early 2021, Kano and Ouija emerged and smashed their PBs both to a low 15.0x. The new strat since Aki's 1459, the only 14 at the time on the leaderboard, which is crazy to say because you look at the leaderboard now, it's a whole lot of 14s. The new strats being Fly Guy-less, Salt Cannonless, and Side Flip Tail Grab, which the Side Flip Tail Grab allows you to not only grab Bowser's tail earlier, faster, it positions you closer to the bomb. And I don't know, maybe I should learn how to do this. I don't really know how hard it is, but all 16-star runners are doing it, and apparently it saves almost a second. So I should probably do it. It was at this point that the 16-star world record was looking extremely touchable. Day after day, runners Nip, Kano, and Ouija were getting on paces that had the potential to smash the world record, and the race for the sub 1450 was on. June 2021, Kano got the world record with a 1458 and started a chain reaction of 14s from everyone else, almost as if he had broken down the door for himself and everyone else. Shortly after, Slippery Nip and Ouija would get their first 14s, and August 2021 rolls around, and not only would we see runners getting low 1450-something paces into bits, but Liam, after almost a year-and-a-half hiatus, returned to Mario 64 speedrunning, doing 120-star speedruns. Slippery Nip capped off the month of August, bopping Kano's record with a 1456. In September, gleasn would join the 14 club with a 1459, and later that month, a 1456, less than a second slower than Slippery Nip's record. October saw the discovery of Chip Clip and caused not only new 1 and 0-star world records to be broken, but not even 2 months after returning, Liam had beaten his own PB of 138.43 with a 138.34, and 3 days later attained the 120-star world record with a 138.13, making it look like a piece of cake. Liam had been back in a major way with many micro-optimizations learned throughout his run. Honestly, Liam getting the record blew everyone's mind, mine included. Usually, you know, runners come back to grind for record. It takes multiple months, many months, but Liam got it quick. November rolled around and proved to be the golden month of Mario 64 with 3 new records for 16-star. gleasn got his first world record with a 1455 and a 1454, with Ouija beating it with a 14:53. And these records were good, but according to Green-Suigi, they were still not up to snuff for what these players have been capable of, a 1440 something. And now, just to recap, for 16 star, the new strats being used since Aki's 14 were Salt Cannonless, Fly Guyless, the C-Up slide or GTM slide in HMC, which saves 0.3 seconds, Chip Clip, which saves about 0.7, the Side Flip Tail Grab, which saves just under a second if you do it 3 times, the Ultimate Ending in Fire Sea, which looks amazingly sick, which wasn't a new strat, but it had become more common for runners. And combining all these saves about 3 seconds, which is humongous. I mean, 1 frame save. I know you guys, listen, I see people in the comments saying, oh my god, I can't believe Simply made a video over a thing that only saves a second. This thing only saves 2 seconds. Why is he just clickbaiting this? This isn't a huge discovery. You don't understand. These are huge discoveries because in 16, listen, I'm a 120 star runner. In 120 star, if you can save 2-3 frames with a little optimization, that's big. Why is that big? Because if you do that 100 times over throughout the run, 200 to 300 frames saved, I mean, you're starting to look at 5 to 10 second save. It adds up extremely quick. So if you can find something that saves a whole second, something that saves half a second, that is amazing. That is huge, okay? So I don't want to see these comments of people that say, why the fuck is he clickbaiting? It is not clickbait, okay? These are huge discoveries. This has been a crazy year. Also, of course, in November, Liam had broken what may be the last minute barrier in 120 star for a very long time, okay? I don't want to be the guy that says, oh, this is the last barrier ever, because, you know, the game always improves, people always get better, but Liam got a 137.53, and I don't know if, I don't know when we're going to see a 137 get broken. You know, the 137 minute barrier, it's a good run. There are obviously mistakes, but a 136 would be insane. I feel like a more realistic barrier that we might see broken in the next year or two is getting a 120 star run in under 137.30. To cap off the year, on December 30th, Green-Suigi had finally broken the 1450 barrier in 16 star with a 1448. Just make sure to cover your ears because he was very happy and very excited. Yeah! Yes! Combining all of these records and new discoveries and, you know, big streamers getting in on the scene, many different factors marks 2021 as the, in my opinion, goldest age Mario 64 has ever seen. I'm not sure what the year 2022 holds. I will get into that in a moment. So it makes me ponder on the question, why do these golden ages happen? Obviously, you know, new discoveries like Chip Clip, the Salt Triple Jump in HMC that was recently found that saves 2 seconds. These are massive, and these are going to spark runners to want to try and beat their records, even if that's the only new thing they're doing. Time off is a huge one, you know? After setting your mind on a time and achieving it after potentially months and months and months of grinding, it'll wear even the most resilient runners down. By just having some time away from the game, it lets your mind relax and you come back to the game feeling like you unlocked new potential. Even though you haven't changed at all, really, you know, just letting your mind relax and coming back to the game, you realize just how mental it can get. You know, you get in your head, you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Oh, this time is too hard to get. None of that's a problem anymore. It's like an improvement in and of itself. You have more tolerance to learn new things. You have more patience for new strats or resetting. And the old mental barriers that you once had melt away. And although they're quick to come back in new ways, they're easier to navigate. And honestly, it's the biggest part of the game at a high level. Obviously, other players coming back and improving their own times and learning new strats sparks a ripple effect. You know, Liam coming back inspired me a lot to improve my own game. I'm just really excited to see how 2022 goes. I mean, it's gonna be Pog. Basically, to conclude, there has never been a better time to be a Mario 64 speedrunning fan. With world records getting broken left and right like crazy, they are as exciting as ever. And not only am I grinding 120 star, but there are many other runners grinding at the top for the various categories, and I'll link them in the description. You know, in 16 star, although the 1450 barrier has been broken, the 1448 can of course still be beaten, and runners Slippery Nip and Ouija are still grinding daily to beat the 16 star record. In terms of 70 star, it's not the most active. However, I would definitely check out Benji, who is on the cusp of getting a record. And also, it's going to be really interesting to see Kano and Green Suigi are both learning 70 star right now. And lastly, of course, you know, what I love, where my heart has always been, where it will always be, in 120 star, you have Liam still grinding every day, Punke grinding almost every day, myself grinding almost every day, Cheese, and who knows who's next. Dowski's doing 120 star. He's on the come up. Kano has talked about doing 120. Ouija's pretty good at 120. So, you know, we're going to have to see what 2022 brings, okay? But, listen, I am playing the fucking game, okay? And I'm going off. Personally, I feel like 120 stars improved a lot for myself. There's always new things to learn, little optimizations, you know. Watching Liam has inspired me to improve a lot of my own game. And honestly, I can't really keep track of all the new things I've learned, but I've learned a lot of new strats, a lot of new movement, and my record of 138.28, obviously it's obsoleted at this point. You know, Liam's record's 35 seconds faster, but I have made many improvements, and pretty much every day I'm on pace to beat my time. So even if it's not a record, I'm going to beat my time soon. I'm going for the 137. I'm going to try my best. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Come watch me on Twitch. All that shit. All right. Bye.